All right, good evening, everyone. We're gonna get started. Maybe there's a lot of people are hiding from the rain, but thank you all for coming out tonight because we do have some awesome speakers lined up. If this is your first time, welcome. We have a sign-in sheet going around. If you're a returning member, there is a question just to confirm you've been getting emails. If not, if you can write a note or write your email on the list, because we have been getting some emails bouncing as well. As always, mahalo to Warren, Kevin, and Liz for hosting us. And if you need to use the restroom, just follow the path with the lights. We're also recording this meeting, so if you don't want to be on camera, don't come up to the front or let us know. Yeah, and with that, we'll have Officer Bryant come up first, a rep from the HPD, giving us updates.
Hello, good evening. I'm Officer Bryant with the District 4 Community Policing Team. I'm going to talk about a few things that's been going on, and then I'll answer any questions if anybody has anything. So, the recent weeks, fortunately, Sector 1, which is from Mamanalo to Kailua, has been pretty good. No birds, no UMVs, no thefts. That has been reported, so that's good news. I was called a few days ago about an artillery shell that was found on Mokulama. So unfortunately, we handed the shell over to the military and they did the disposal. They didn't share any further information with us. They called, somebody was asking if there was more artillery shells in the area. That we cannot confirm. I do know that they found it while they were digging. So they was digging, and then as they was grading it out, that's when they found the shell. I believe it was about a foot long, pretty good sized shell. Yeah. So we contacted the military. Usually if it's smaller, we'll contact SSD, which is our SWAT guys, and they'll dispose of it. But because it wasn't an IED, it was actually a military grade artillery shell, we called them and they disposed of it. Another thing too is, I don't know about around here, but we've been getting contact about chicken fights. So this weekend we have a sting going on somewhere down this side. I can't tell you exactly where, but if you guys see any woman out, just contact me. My email is john.bryant@honolulu.gov. If you guys want to ask me after, I'll give it to you guys. Other than that, anybody got any questions for me? Any concerns? Oh, it's been that good. I haven't been here for a while, so I'm surprised. I was expecting a lot of questions. Yeah, well, anything that you guys might see that's out of the ordinary, yeah, feel free to contact me. Like I said, oh, there's another thing I want to bring up. There was a lot, all the way down at the very end. Can't remember exactly where. So we had a small concern that came in. They believe that people are squatting on the property. I don't know if you guys heard about that property. We made checks of the property. We couldn't get in contact with the property owner, but there was a bunch of guys who were previously residentially challenged, meaning they was homeless, and they was on the property.
Is this on Mahiku?
Yeah, Mohiku, please.
Oh, that's our neighbors.
That's his neighbors. Have they been problems?
No.
Not really?
Was it at the end of Mahiku?
Oh, it's kind of in the middle.
In the middle.
Yes.
Right side?
If they're spotting at the most recent property that got in the bidding process, that got assigned. There's been some like fires and like stuff like that.
Yeah, it looked like it was recently vacated, and then they just kind of started squatting on the property. So we tried to get a hold of the property owner. Nobody got back to us. So we've been making checks on our property. We've been driving up over there. We do know the
Because it's the
people
part
that
that
are there. Yes, yes. So, but if you look it up, they're supposed to have like over the lease for the property.
Yeah.
So, we try to contact that person. So as of this time, we haven't been contacted that. But we are making checks like weekly up over there. If you guys have any problems, just call us. We'll come and make more checks. Unfortunately, there was someone that was wanted and we did end up grabbing her. And we got her at McDonald's. She was hiding out over there. But yeah, other than that, that's all I have for you guys. If anybody wants my email, you can come up with me. I'll stick around for a little while, and then I'll head out. Thank you for having me tonight.
Thanks for coming. All right. Next we have Kimma joining us from, is it new now? The Hui or no?
We are not.
Or here, you can introduce yourself.
Aloha mai kako, my name is Kima. I'm here on behalf of members of the community who are concerned about the state of NIU here in Waimanalo and island-wide. So we are working with an organization called NIU Now, which is primarily based on the west side at UH West. But here we're a grouping of different members of the community who are coming together to protect the NIU in our community. And so I just wanted to share with you a little bit about what we're doing and some of the information that I have and the techniques that I use to take care of the NIU, because right now we need some hope and we need some encouragement to encourage each other to stay in this and to continue caring for our trees as we are facing systemic failure, and a lot of the responsibility is coming on us. And I have a lot of respect for everything that you all do, and it's a lot of work that it takes to take care of our NIU at this point. So it feels like we're being handed buckets on a sinking ship, and I wanted to help you know that we're building a lifeboat, and if you want to get on that lifeboat with your trees, please let us know. So just to give a brief overview, I'm sure all of you have been introduced to basic tree care techniques, but I just want to emphasize that organic, natural methods are the most effective. They can be, in some ways, more labor intensive, but just feeding your tree and irrigating your trees has been showing amazing capacity to create resilience in the trees. We have to really think about the immunity of the tree itself. Allowing the tree to reproduce is also critical. So I have some products here too that I can show you that I use as part of an organic treatment for nourishing the trees, and then also for deterrence using a sulfuric acid, which is all organic, produced here locally using Korean natural farming techniques. In addition to that, doing sand and salt packs in the crown, and netting, Tekken netting is really important if you can. I understand the limitations of time and care, especially when you have a large scale or a large number of trees to take care of. So those are all things that I'm happy to stick around and talk to you about, or provide some support to do some surveying of the status of your trees and evaluating their health. And so now I want to talk about the good parts. As we can all see, a lot of our trees are dying. And that includes here in Waimanalo some of the oldest trees on the island. And a lot of those trees are on Bellows military base. And so a hui of us, including conservationists at Bellows, myself, and a few other people have started collecting those seeds from trees that have been here for hundreds of years and may no longer be here a year from now, or even less. And so we're collecting the last harvest of their seed and putting them in a nursery or a seed bank. So right now we have 25 varieties, 122 seeds that have come from Bellows' oldest trees, and we are sprouting them up at the Kuahunua o Waimanalo. And the hope is that we will have 122 keiki trees that will be able to perpetuate those lineages. That's the ultimate dream, is that these lineages will not go extinct because of CRB. The basic message that we have from NIU Now is keep planting. We're watching so many trees die at such an astounding rate from so many reasons, CRB among one of them, but you know, there's a lot of other causes for the loss of life of our tree population. So I'm here to invite you all, if you have trees that are culturally valuable or valuable as a food source, they are good nuts or they're very highly productive, please let us know, and we will come and we'll gather the data and track the phenotype and then bring them to the nursery to protect them so that that lineage can be perpetuated in the community. I'm also here to invite you all, if you have place on your land where we can outplant, because right now we have seeds that have sprouted, but to be able to perpetuate a lineage, we need what we call an ulu niu, which is a coconut grove. And that means having at least 3 trees of the same variety planted next to each other so that they can interpollinate and keep true to that genetic lineage. So if you're somebody who's lost a lot of trees, or you're in the process of losing trees, or if you are interested in just being able to use some of your land, not necessarily for commercial production, but coconuts are very valuable in many ways, not just they're beneficial to other plants as well. So if you're interested, ideally we're looking for spaces that can host a minimum of 30 trees, but because we have such a backlog of sprouted keiki, it would be great to even get 3 in the ground anywhere in the community, and we're here to support caring for those trees, making sure they're resilient, and then also protecting them and deterring the CRB. So we do three in a triangle about 10 feet apart. So, sorry, my math is not my strong suit.
I can just calculate it.
Yeah, so and anywhere up to, like, some of the ulu nios that have recently been established are up to 130 trees. And we're looking at a variety of different locations. It doesn't have to be a farm. We want to do it anywhere we can fit. So think creatively. If you have, we want you to be part of the solution. And that's to plant, because even if CRB takes out 50% of our trees, that's 50% of trees that will survive. And that's really important. And I have some other good news for you, which is that SB 2925, which is a bill that just got accepted into the House. The House will be reviewing it on the 18th, so next Wednesday, to pass it into law, establishing coconuts as a traditional staple food crop and a cultural treasure. So this is a great time, and you all as farmers would be an incredible support to helping our government understand the critical role it is to not only recognizing it as a cultural resource, a food resource, but also that it would include tax incentives for organic care of trees as a food crop. So if you are willing to participate in this, you'd actually get tax incentives to do so. So this is a win-win for everybody, and if you're somebody who's interested in getting involved, helping to get support for SB 2925 is super critical. There's a lot of support for it anyways, but the more the merrier. And if you want to testify, next Wednesday is a great time to show up and connect with other people who are out here cultivating coconuts. And I think that's all I have. I'm happy to share more Q&A, or also come up to me afterwards. I have my card too, so if you have questions or interest in getting involved. If you have coconuts from a tree that's endangered, or not endangered, but all of our trees are in danger right now. So if you have collected seed, please let me know, and we'll bring them up to the Puahonua, and we'll keep them safe for you until it's time to plant. So Q&A now or later?
Sure. Does anyone have any questions right now? So you mean like around the whole area?
Yeah, like how are you gonna keep the mineral from trying?
The keiki trees?
Yeah, as they grow out.
So we're having a lot of success with a biocontrol that's locally produced, Metarhizium antiopoli. It's an actual powdered fungal that you dilute or dissolve in water and then soil drench. And that's having really long-term success with basically killing and deterring CRB as well as other pests. And so what I do is I apply that in the soil all around the trees, and then we net. And we can do netting, kind of a vertical netting system where you're netting the whole zone, but also as the trees develop, just netting each individual tree. Also, a lot of it is just observation and just making sure that we're out there looking for the full life cycle, because CRB spends 85% of its life on the ground and in the soil and the mulch. and only 20% of its life as an adult feeding on the coconuts. So the important thing is to not only detect it when it's fully grown, but also looking for it in its breeding habitats and treating those breeding habitats with the biocontrol as soon as possible and as regularly as possible. So yeah, there's no easy answer for that, but we're just doing our best. And yeah, there's no guarantee. We're also sending seeds to other places. Maui has CRV presence, but it's not officially acknowledged yet. So there are some strains that are being shared with other communities to keep them safe. Any other questions?
How do you get the fungal?
So Aloha Organic, which is based in Kahului, they produce a line of products for feeding and protecting the trees, and they also produce the biocontrol as well. And that's just alohaorganic.org is their website. And I find that their new armor line is really effective, but is a little bit more labor intensive and more expensive. The biocontrol is something that is a lot easier in application, and nothing is completely bulletproof, but at least you can get a little bit ahead, especially when you have a large mulch pile or a lot of green waste to deal with and you're not able to burn it. Anyone else have a question or want to volunteer? Just kidding. But, awesome. Thank you guys so much, and feel free to reach out.
Yeah, thank you. Yes, we needed some positivity. Thank you, Kima. All right, next we have our DAB representatives. If you guys want to come up, give us some updates, and if anyone has any questions. Thank you guys for all coming out.
Aloha kako. I am Jessica Mira. I'm now the full-time permanent land vertebrate specialist for Department of Agriculture and Biosecurity Plant Quarantine Branch. You guys probably see my face. We do have a lot of new faces up here today. We're here to give updates since our last meeting, and answer any questions that you folks may have. So on the koki side, since I deal mostly with koki, we are still doing our weekly Thursday responses with DLNR as well as with DOFA, Forestry and Wildlife, and Oahu Invasive Species Committee with volunteers, and also conducting treatments on a large scale out there. They're doing a really awesome job, and I'm really, really happy to see how well it's coming along. They are doing, they're doing good work, and a lot of the treated areas are getting a lot more quieter, and they're working on the borders and whatnot. I also want to add in, while we are doing a lot of treatments and a lot of work on koki in the forested areas, if you folks have, on your properties, nurseries, homes, if there's any time you guys have koki frogs, if you hear one or two, we're more than happy to come out and help and catch. Even if there's maybe a situation where you have multiple frogs, we can work out a schedule to have a citric treatment, and we'll cover with the staff in the treatment, with citric and whatnot, and do the manpower for it. Because what we don't want to do is have it spread to other properties or get a larger infestation, as well as we don't want them to be transported. So if you're selling plants or selling products, or even just driving in and out of your property, we just don't want it to be accidentally transported to somewhere else, or somebody's purchasing something that might have koki frogs. So we're more than willing to help. Feel free to contact me, or Kiana. I'll pass her the mic afterwards, but she's also been helping me. She's my assistant for a lot of the koki work. So we're, if you hear anything, feel free to call, email. I also can give you guys my cell phone number if you want to text as well. So, and that's all I have for the koki frog update. So pass it on.
Hey guys, nice to meet you. I'm Jessica Leon, so we got two Jessicas with us now. I'm the assistant coordinator for the Little Fire Ant response. So for Little Fire Ants, we're shifting our focus a little bit more on Waimanalo. So we're trying to expand testing adjacent properties to known infestations, and we're also working on expanding survey work into areas along the streams running Waimanalo. And I know Jared mentioned in the past that there was questions and concerns about funding for nurseries regarding these treatments. So the department has launched a pilot program where we can assist you with providing chemicals and for treatment applications itself. There will be a compliance agreement for that. If you guys have want to read it, I do have a copy if you want to look over a template. Other than that, the other update we have is, as you guys know, probably Jared Lau, the acting entomologist, he is going to be moving from plant quarantine branch to plant pest control, and he will be the new noxious weed specialist. He will still be working alongside the LFA program. Jared and I will be co-leading it, and starting early April, I will be the new acting entomologist for plant quarantine branch. Unless anyone has any questions, I'll pass it down the line.
Are there any current nurseries or residences that have LFA?
In Waimanalo?
Yes.
Yes, there are several in the area. I'm not allowed to announce
Yeah.
which one specifically, but yes, there are pockets within Waimanalo.
Everyone's complying though?
Yes, everyone that we've been reaching out to has been compliant, and it's been very, very helpful.
At the top of Kakauna Street, you know the water station, water pumping station?
The BWS one?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Did you guys treat that for elephant?
we're starting, yes.
Okay, because
Yeah.
it's a massive, massive upgrade.
Yeah, so we're working in that, up there by the reservoir.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Hey guys, my name's Kiana. I've just started assisting Jan with cookie stuff, just logging reports and just making sure that we're going out. So like she said, if you guys hear like one or two on your property, feel free to email us or give us a call, because that's the best thing to do is to like prevent the spread. There's obviously pockets that is pretty dense, but we just want to prevent them from moving any farther out. So if you guys, if you hear it, call us, we'll come out, we'll get them. So yeah. Do you guys have any Koki questions?
Yeah.
Any questions?
Sorry.
I mean, I'm sure you guys all know what they sound like. You probably heard them. Unfortunately.
I have one question. What do you think when you guys first started treating up here? What do you think the percentage or decrease of coffee frogs you think approximately?
It's hard to kind of gauge. What the percentage is, just because of the amount of area that we have to treat. However, with a lot of the treatments that have been going on, have been focusing on the core or main population, or where we think that it had started from to spread out. And I would say that there was a tremendous decrease of calling frogs there. I can't give an exact number, maybe 70-75% decrease in the calls in that area.
What did you say, 70%?
Yeah, 70%. They do sound monitoring. So the Division of Forestry and Wildlife, they do put sound monitors in to measure the calls the day before, the day of, during the spray, and then directly after the spray, and the next day after. So they do multiple recording snippets to determine the value of what the calls, and they go by decibels.
Yeah, like the density of sound.
Density of the sound, yeah. And they use a laboratory in Big Island in Hilo with UH to analyze that data. And it does show a significant decrease from when they initially treat, or before they treat, and then after they treat. Yeah, so the main thing is just, is to constantly apply treatments, because even these treatments are not killing all the frogs, there is a chance that they can reinfest that area. You know, it's new territory that is unoccupied for them because they're very territorial. So, you know, best thing to do is to keep constantly applying treatments until basically there's no frogs left. So that's what they've been doing. These weekly treatments is just concentrating on one area, and then they'll focus on going through the borders to kind of pincer them in so they don't spread further. Yeah, so they're monitoring all of that. I haven't been out in a very long time. I got really busy, but we do still have our staff who go out, and then I get, you know, we kind of update each other on what's going on, and we have working groups and whatnot. So that's
Thank you.
yeah. Any other questions? Sorry, any other questions?
Were
Yeah.
you able to get the ones that went over the mountain?
So we are still working on that. It's still a situation where it's because of the location and how remote it is, and just the accessibility to like the Kuli'o Range. It's very difficult to just have people up there. It does take a long time. It does take it's quite an event to just get people up there, equipment up there. But within the next coming months, I know we are gonna try and do a joint operation to do possibly like a helicopter spray, or not necessarily helicopter spray, but to spray basically that areas that are most infested on the summit. But that's still kind of in the works, especially because it takes a large amount of citric acid, and we just have to make sure we have enough citric acid for that scale of treatments that we're planning to do. But it should happen within, I want to say we're hoping before the summer comes around, so maybe next month, even May. But it is definitely a bigger operation than just one agency, so it's a bunch of agencies that are going to start working together to try and get that population. But as of right now, we have not gone up there, we have not started treatments up there, but it is being monitored, like with sound monitors, and every so often they'll do surveys up there to to understand where they're spreading. Yeah. You have any question? Okay, I will pass it off to the next.
Hi, my name is Ruben. I've been helping out with the response team. Previously, we were more focused on CRB. We kind of had to shift some of our focus, but we have, for CRB, we have several traps available if anybody wants. There's just either call or you have to come by our office and pick them up, but we have several that's available to hand out. And I think most important, like, for CRB, as was said earlier, managing greenways, right, is still what the department recommends to prevent CRB. Other than that, there's more updates.
Last time we were here, we talked a little bit about some of the activities that were going on. I'm sorry, I'm Peter, also helping out with CRB response team. So there were tree removals that were being done on the island, and I believe that's just about completed. It was over on the Waianae side and also on the North Shore side. So I believe those treatments, or tree removal, has been pretty much wound up. And the other thing is just in terms of treatment, we're not able to treat on private property still. So in terms of treatments, I think we're gonna, the years, you know, it's a new year, so we'll probably be going back to some of those public areas, like some of the parks, to retreat some of those trees that we treated prior. So that's about it currently for CRB. Yeah, we've been focusing on other things at the moment, but yeah, that's about it for that. Yeah, any questions? Yes.
Yeah, sorry, I have a question about when you guys treat the coconut tree, if there's fruit on it, how long before, I mean, is that fruit toxic to eat?
Yeah, so when we do treatments, we have to coordinate, you know, with the state agencies that are involved or that are in charge of those parks to
make sure
with their trimming schedule. So we just don't go out and, you know, haphazardly choose which parts to treat. We actually have to coordinate, you know, with their teams that are removing any flowers or any fruits that are on the trees.
Did I hear that the flowers are also toxic to bees once the tree's been chemically treated?
Well, they were saying, I guess some chemicals can be, so that's why we have to make sure that they're present when we're treating.
So they trim before the blossoms
Yes.
come out.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah. Any questions? Oh, sorry. Gentleman in the back. Sorry. Yeah.
How many total palms do you guys think you guys have treated so far?
I don't have that number, but if you want to call our office, we can potentially get that to you. I believe we probably have it on the website potentially. I'm not sure.
No.
Oh.
Have you done any retreatments yet?
Not
On
yet.
palms? You're just continuing to hit new palms.
Right, or we're gonna come back and revisit some of those that we were already treated. Yeah. Yes.
I have a member, she's not here tonight, but she reached out asking to get some traps. Would I just give her your contact information and she can?
Yeah, just tell her to stop by our office. Stop by our office off of Santa Ana Access Road,
Okay.
on Key Street.
And then a couple meetings ago, we had questions about, what was it, the Cleveland longhorn beetle? Do you guys have any information on that?
We do not currently. Yeah.
There's an article that came out, and so I think it was 2 or 3 meetings ago, everyone was a little nervous, because the article was saying
I know
that.
it's kind of on big on, but as far as I've heard, it's not on a lot.
Okay.
So it's just more keeping an eye out for it. If you do see signs of it, to let us know so we can jump on it as soon as possible.
Are you funded to do this program continuously every year, at least a once a year treatment? Or is it, because that's what it seems it's going to take until something happens?
Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah.
My understanding, I believe that the Act 231 is perpetual currently.
Perpetual?
Yes, but that's unfortunately not only CRB. That's all invasive, so it's going to be kind of hard. But there is money that is currently allocated for invasives, and CRB is one of them.
So that was Act 201.
I think 231 is. If I remember correctly.
What chemical are you guys using to treat coconut?
Mostly imidacloprid.
Even on, if you want to eat the fruit?
No, so because we're only treating like public areas, state parks mostly, they already have to be removed according to the county ordinance.
I talked to Gilbert with the Simplot, Gilbert. So he said merit, imidacloprid, is cleared for citrus trees. So why wouldn't imidacloprid be available to treat coconut trees and still eat the fruit?
That's EPA and labeling, and that has to do, from my understanding, they would need to do the testing, present the evidence to the EPA in order to get it passed.
I think the way I understand it is, we use imidacloprid on avocados and other
Yes,
trees and everything.
it is
else.
used on other edible
There,
crops.
the thing to me, it just appears that coconuts are just mainly isolated to Hawaii, and for them to do all of this testing
Correct, it's probably not-
becomes an expensive
fiscally it's probably
situation,
not.
and they, instead of spending all this money or whatever to test it, they just say it's not, it's not on the label, but it's okay for all other people.
Right, that is,
So
that is correct.
I'm not.
It would be up to the manufacturer to
Yeah.
get that added through the EPA. Because all of the EPA labeling is based on what the manufacturers present, their evidence, they have to pay for the testing, provide that information to the EPA, and that's how labels are changed or added or created.
Yeah, and that's a problem because unfortunately, like a lot of crops are considered minor. Unless it's a major crop, major is in like the United States mainland type of major, then money's put in to kind of, push for that labeling to include those crops. And so that's why a lot of the things are not added, is because they're not considered major enough to be included as part of the label.
Do you have a sense of how effective that treatment has been?
Unfortunately, it more it more depends on the pest pressure in the area than the effectiveness of the chemical, because the beetles still need to feed on the trees in order to ingest the insecticide.
Right.
So with high pest pressures, we're still seeing, unfortunately, death of trees, because even though they are killing beetles and we'll find dead beetles, the pressures is too high and there's enough damage that's being caused that the trees are still dying.
Do you know if the tree trimmers for the parks and the ponds you're treating are using One Guard to spray them?
As
When they're
city,
out there
county, or
yeah,
state?
or whoever's pruning the palms that you guys are treating.
So currently, the state parks, that's not included, so that's all contracted out, that's not included in their contract. We're trying to actually work on some new contracts to assist the state parks in getting that accomplished. So that's in the works. And then city and county, the current I don't want to put any words in their mouth, but they're leaning towards not treating any palms at this moment.
What? They're not gonna treat any of the palms at the city parks?
They're still, yeah, I'm not exactly sure, like,
So it's all about saving Waikiki and all that area, the palm trees, but that's about it.
like again, I don't
Yeah,
want to
know.
speak
Not,
for
it's not your fault, it's not your fault.
Yeah,
Urban forestry.
yeah.
Is there any effort to do the mulch management on a countywide scale?
They've tried multiple times. It's just that I think just logistically is what always comes up as the hurdle. And like even like the movement of material, like there's not enough people to police it. So it's almost pointless to put in a memorandum or anything. Because so like the best thing is just outreach.
The good news, bad news is Kailua is getting them now and they'll be screaming.
Hopefully, yeah, because
Maybe they'll get something done.
Yes, exactly. Hopefully something more.
Yep, people are going, oh my, and everyone else, I mean, all of us have been going, oh my, for years
Yeah, because
now.
I mean, unfortunately, right, it's all down to who, I guess, is
How
more
loud they
willing to
can
talk to
scream.
the legislators.
Yeah.
Right, in order to get things done. That's the unfortunate reality.
Yep.
You guys aren't spraying One Guard at all, right? You guys are just doing trunk injections?
We will provide it to some like nurses and stuff that can like, take the data showing that they're using it properly, but we currently do not have the equipment to do that.
Even small palms that you can reach.
So small palms we have done,
You will
backpack
spray
sprays and stuff,
spray.
yeah.
In our observations, that's almost, if you're on top of that, that's almost better than a trunk. If you would stay on top of it,
Yes.
spraying every 3 months.
I mean, ideally, right, we would have enough time and funds to do
Yeah,
both.
yeah, exactly. That's good to get more than just.
So in Kona, that's what they're trying to do, to like try to eradicate it before it spreads too far out of Kona.
What's the difference in One Guard?
It's a mix. It's a, I have to look it up, I don't remember off the top of my head. I think there's inappropriate in there.
What's the name?
I guess just clarifying, if LFA is detected, do you guys then go out and check all surrounding areas?
Yeah, so if LFA is detected on one property,
we'll conduct a survey on that property first to see how bad the spread is, and depending on how big the spread is, so if it looks like it might be crossing the border over, or if it's close to the border, yes, we will start reaching out to the neighbors adjacent and farther as far as we need to go until we find the ends of the infestation.
And then, Koki, do you guys reach out to surrounding neighbors if there's an outbreak on private properties?
Yeah, so if we do a survey, most times if somebody calls us and we go out and we do a survey, if we hear frogs on another property, we'll reach out to them and try to see if we can schedule something. A lot of it too is making sure that we can get a contact, especially on private properties. It's a little difficult. Most times we'll try to knock and talk, come around like when everybody gets home, or even have neighbors try and reach out to their neighbor and be like, hey, can you let your neighbor know that they might have a potential koki in their yard or in their land. But other than that, yes, if we're out surveying in one area and we hear frogs in another area, we'll definitely reach out to that property.
And then the properties that do have established populations, are they on a regular treatment?
Not that. So it just depends. If they're, a lot of it too is like we need to know, like, because we're not always on the properties all the time. We need to know, how often they're hearing frogs, or if there's a reinfestation. So if we're not aware of reinfestations, if they're not reaching out, then we don't know if we need to schedule reoccurring treatments. We do try to do follow-up surveys, but if we're not hearing frogs, if we do a treatment in one area and we're not hearing frogs for a couple of surveys, then we most likely won't go back out. But we really want the homeowners, landowners to reach out to us if they start hearing them again. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Thank you folks. Thank you folks very much.
You're welcome. Thank you guys so much.
I know, I do not want to.
Okay. Taylor, do you have any updates from the neighborhood board?
The last meeting was on Monday, and the only relevant things were some CRB updates. They announced that meeting that Lisa Martin is having. What is it, on Sunday?
It just got rescheduled.
Oh, okay.
It got rescheduled to the 28th. March 28th, they're giving out supplies at the Wamanalo Library. She emphasizes that it's for residents, but business owners are welcome to come to if they have questions. Yeah, I don't know. Other than that.
Yeah, it was just CRB.
Okay, and then we have another guest. Micah, do you want to come up? I think, yeah, you're our last guest today.
Hello, couple. My name is Michael Kalama. Just wanted to make an announcement. I'm actually going to be running for House District 51. So I'll be running for state representative for Wamanalo, Anikai, Kyoto Hills, and Enchanted Lakes. Just a little bit about me. I just wanted to come introduce myself. I'm born and raised right down the road, right here in Wamanalo. My family is David and Kim Kalama. I was lucky enough to be born and raised on a ranch and a farm, and see a lot of the struggle and hardship that a lot of our community is going through. And I feel like it's necessary at this time, based on all the education that I've received, to kind of step up, do my part. I'm currently actually just resigned my duties as a flight attendant for Hawaiian Airlines. I'm actually a co-host for the Ocean Paddler TV network, and then I also work for two nonprofits. One is the Miss International pageant run right here in Hawaii, and then as well as County Kudu Club as one of the assistant coaches. With it, I just coming to meet a little bit more. I know some familiar faces in here, but some of you might have some concerns, and I'm open, all ears. I've done a lot of my homework, a lot of the research within the community, And I can say, you know, as a testament of born and raised in the community, that everybody's struggle is very similar here. So I'm trying to bring some of that awareness that it needs to go back into the families, and we kind of have to touch base with our roots, and sometimes that can get a little bit mixed up. And with that, you know, our respect to the farming community, anybody that's involved, naturally we're stewards of our communities, and we should be taking care of one another. So if we're protecting the land, we're definitely going to help the people. And these are some of the things that I feel is important. And if you guys have any questions, I have some flyers that I can hand out to you. You guys can talk story, get to know me. Some of you guys know my parents, and we share some of the same concerns. So if you guys have anything, I'll be back there and hanging out. So I just wanted to make an announcement. Been coming to a handful of meetings lately, and I've been in the community for quite some time, and I try to keep involved with everything that's going on. If you guys are free, next week we'll be hosting a 7th annual Aloha Aito number 7. I'm actually the race director and coordinator for a big event. It's a paddling event. We invite probably close to about 250 individual paddlers, and then about 400 paddlers for 6-man canoe racing. Probably one of the first ones to bring the top paddlers from Tahiti here to the island to represent their community as well as across the entire world. And with that, we're bridging gaps for our youth, and as well as, you know, a little bit more of the business side, trying to create the relationships that's needed around here. So yeah, looking forward to meeting all of you, and I hope you guys are having a good night, and hopefully we stay safe with this crazy weather. But as far as the other updates, I did go to the neighborhood board meeting, and I think we're lacking on some of those things. We're not bringing up the right things inside of these meetings, and those are my big concerns as well. Talking about public safety, housing, things that really need attention as well, and we're lacking in those things as well. So appreciate you guys' time, and I hope you guys have a good night.
Okay, opening it up to the floor. Does any members have any announcements? Yes, Shannon.
Maybe just an update on the legislature.
Yeah, I was gonna go into that, but
you can get it.
oh no,
I'll just give the deadline.
You're really good at this.
I just wanted to let everyone know the legislature is at a halfway point right now. So as mentioned, bills are crossing over. So what that means is the bills from the originating house will cross to the non-originating house and vice versa. And it's a critical point. So if there's any bills that are important to you, right now is the time to get on the record and make your point known. I did just text Brian from the Farm Bureau to ask him what the Farm Bureau priorities are. I'll let Haley talk about one of the other bills, but other Farm Bureau bills that they're prioritizing includes HB 1707, Ag Transportation Cost Reimbursement Program. That one has been introduced before, but I think they're trying to introduce it yet again. Also SB 2319 regarding grant writers. As we all know, grants related to agriculture is important. So if that one piques your interest, please look it up. Also, HB 1605, CTAR, Human and Community Resilience Institute, and HB 1952, CTAR Kauai Extension Station CIP. I don't think there's a CIP for Waimanalo. I think they got one last year. And then HB 2208, Farm to Families. But he said there are still over 100 aggregated bills left. I think some of the CRB ones were mentioned, the coconut one to preserve trees, but there's a lot out there, and I just want to thank the Farm Bureau and Hawaii Farmers Union United, I think that's their name, but they're also very active on ag issues, so we're being very well represented, and yeah, I think we should be proud of that. Thank you.
Yes, and yeah, and I should have this memorized, the bill number, but the bill that I was working on with Amanda Shaw to extend or allow ag parks on Oahu to be able to extend their leases has also met its halfway point. It's crossing over to the Senate, and it was so great to go in and testify, and then Shannon also testified too, and yeah, it's quite an experience. I never thought I would be going to the Capitol this often. But yeah, and also the Hawaii Farmers Union created a bill tracker for all the ag bills, and so we'll send that out in an email so you can just look through, because there's like a ton besides the ones that Shannon mentioned, just to see what their status is. Yeah, it's really helpful. Yeah. Anything else from our members?
I'm testifying those you have, are you optimistic?
For what?
For the ag park.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. I'm very new to this world. She said, "Are we optimistic about it?"
I mean, it's moving.
It's moving.
1603. The Senate companion didn't get a hearing, which is problematic, but hopefully Senator Gabbard, if anyone knows him personally or if you want to give him a call, just email him and we can put out a draft note to everybody, but we're hoping he schedules it. So it's a double referral. Looks like, I was just looking it up, it's Agriculture, Environment, that's Gabbard, and Judiciary, which is Carl Rhodes. But I don't think that there hasn't been any objections. The only one which,
The Department of Ag offers comments. So yeah, out of all the testimonies, like all support except Department of Ag, and we knew this from the beginning when we did go to talk to them. Instead of them just being full on support, the reason is because they have a long list, a wait list for people looking to get into the ag parks, and it's, I guess in their eyes, there's like an unfair factor to allow people to apply for extension. Yeah.
Can you explain, I'm sure a lot of people have heard about ag parks, but could you explain why this is affecting?
Oh yeah, so Matt and I, you know, we want to farm in Waimanalo, and we've gone through other ways looking to lease from private owners. We've gone through the bidding process, and that has a lot of issues as well. So we ended up purchasing a lease from Alvin Saruda, which had 20 years left. But with the ag parks, they were created for beginner farmers. And so that's why after you have 30 years, option to extend for 20, and then no matter what, it goes back to the state. And the purpose is to allow new farmers to come in and try at it. But our case, I guess, is unique because we ended up taking over the lease at the end of its lease. And I don't know. It's also just an equity thing because you're allowed, all the ag parks everywhere else in the state of Hawaii, you're allowed to extend, but they excluded Oahu. I think it's because, just from talking to people, it's because, you know, there's more people wanting to farm on Oahu, and then also the price of land is more expensive. So whenever, like, for example, when lands go out for a bid, like on the Big Island, not many people apply for those properties, while like we've seen like the Waimanalo lots go up for bid. And it was actually really interesting that Officer Bryant mentioned the squatters, because that the most recent bidding one that went up, the reason why that process is a little outdated is it goes to the highest bidder, and that lot ended up, I think it got appraised for like, the state appraises it for its yearly rent, and I think maybe it was like, I don't know if you guys remember, like $20,000 a year. The highest bidder bid like $67,000, and so he's paying $67,000 a year for that lot. Currently not doing anything, and there's a bunch of squatters there. And so, anyways, this bill is just a little way to start moving the needle. Yeah. Okay. I don't know if that made any sense, but yeah. Okay. Anything else from the group? Our next meeting is May 14th, and then September 12th is our annual party. You want to put that in your calendar. Yeah. Okay, that's all, folks. Potluck time.